There we go. Takes about 15 seconds to connect everything. I'm just going to give this a few minutes to let people in. I'm going a little early today because I'm expecting a plumber. So let me set this up. Got the iPad right in front of me. And let me set the goal here on the iPad. Oh, and I'm going to have to turn down the volume. Hey, Jay. Just getting set up here. How you doing today? Let me get the iPad muted. There we go. So that's done. Wow, 3 people. I'm glad you're doing great. Yeah, I'm probably way too early today, but I have a plumber coming between 4 and 6 LA time. So that would be specific time. And don't know if they'll even show up. So I just set that up on the iPad. When I turned on the camera, I forgot to grab my hot button, so I ran over to my desk to grab it. I really wanted to go later. I think I can bring more people in later. I'm going to talk about an older case just because I think everybody should never say never when it comes to these things. I'm going to go over a little housekeeping. I've got a broken ring lamp today, so you may not be able to see me as clearly. It's on, but it's all smashed to hell, so I got to clean up my language now that my channel is monetized again. It looks like it's just you and me, Jay. Yeah, I can always go off the air and come back later, but I don't know if he's coming closer to 4 or closer to 6 and how long it's going to take. And then, if he comes closer to 6 and it takes like an hour, which hopefully it won't, then we're going on like, 7 Pacific time and, 10 o'clock East Coast time and then no dinner. So can you hear me? You can see me? Can you hear me? There's been a couple videos where the audio's like cut out for the first minute or two, where there's like a little hum or something. So, okay, you can hear me. That's good. Well, there's only 4 people and one of them's me. So let's give it a few more minutes. Maybe the plumber will come early? Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, a lot of these people may have to see today's video on the playback. Someone else had messaged me like, hey, maybe you should go a little later. And I said, well, I'm contemplating it right now because this plumber's coming. And this is the second time that a plumber, not him, but a different plumber has been scheduled. And then the manager was like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. And I was like, oh, gosh, I've been up since early this morning waiting for the maintenance and then waiting for the plumber. And then I just was like, screw it. And I put it off. And I'd like to be able to brush my teeth and have the sink drain. So they fix the same old crap over and over again in this old building. It's so frustrating. Even the dishwasher guy came out and said, you don't have a dishwasher problem, you have a plumbing issue. Like you think? Hey, Trisha. Welcome in, my friend. 7 people. Got to get it up to 10. I got to just cover a little channel housekeeping when we start this video. Yeah, I was able to... This is a mic. Or are you talking about this? Hey, Daxton. T-Vamp. Okay, someone told me there's a way to get into the back end of YouTube. In Studio, there's a setting, but it's kind of hard to find. And you can see like everybody who's your mods, who's a managing mod, who's a regular mod, who's been blocked. And the only person, I only have ever blocked one person in my life, and that was maybe a year or 2 ago. And I think it was some woman that was writing to me from a mental facility. Hey, 10 people in here. Give me a thumbs up. Smash that like button. We are going to talk a little bit about Adam Walsh today, but I just wanted to do some quick channel housekeeping. So I finally found that setting, and I was shocked to see that there was like 14 or 15 viewers that had been blocked. And except for the one that I had blocked at least a year or two ago, long before this monetization just happened like a week ago, I was like, oh my God. And so I just started deleting like all the people that got blocked. And so now everybody's back. I also noticed that there was like 7 or 8 mods, and I only wanted to really have like 3. So I just like at random just went delete, 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 delete. And so right now there's Trisha, and there's Hearts of Gold, and there's Kermudge in Alaska. That might change, and I might just take everybody down, but I don't want anybody here to be offended. But if you were blocked by mistake, it wasn't by me. I apologize. Welcome back, everybody. Now, if somebody gets out of line, I'm going to have to take out the timeout hammer. Yeah, maybe I should order a big hammer and just like, you're gone. So that's that. I cleaned that up. So if anybody comes in and they're like, hey, where's my mod shield? I had to clean everything up. You know, we had an incident that went bad, you know, a few days ago. People got taken out, mods got changed, and I realized that within less than a week, my channel was already getting out of control. And I just got my monetization back, and I absolutely cannot have that happen. I appreciate the mods that I have. You're doing a terrific job. You're not obliged to come in for every video, but if you want to, I'm happy to have you. So I fixed all that. Also, today, it finally completely cracked off. The ring lamp won't even fit on the tripod. I have it hanging on the handle, so there's basically no ring lamp facing me right now. Plus, the cord has been severed from a prior bunny. So I hesitated to order a new one a few weeks ago because someone had come into the show saying they were sending me like a free one, which I thought, oh, wow, that's like really nice. But of course, that free lamp never arrived. As did my $100 that someone was going to call the police over and report me because, you know, I'm a scammer because I don't have their $100. Yep, no $100, no ring lamp. And since yesterday, I've got a alleged orphanage in Uganda that's like blowing up all my videos, trying to figure out how they're going to talk to me directly so that I can send them some cash. No cash is going to Africa right now. Just don't have it. Yeah, that $100 is just floating around. Yeah. Where is it? And it wasn't, you know, but there were people having problems with super chats that day. That's true. That did happen. And it might have been on my end because they tell you to set a goal, and then the goal expires after so many minutes or hours. And, you know, if you don't reset it, I don't know if people can donate in between the goals. I'm not sure how that works. So anyway, like the goal is on. It is what it is. And if anybody has a problem, let me know. Or if somebody during the chats, you know, decides they're going to send it another way. Since, you know, if it comes off an Apple device, I'm getting less than 50%, supposedly. Haven't seen a dime yet. And if it comes from a desktop or an Android device, apparently I get 69 to 70%. So it just depends on where it comes. Now, I know somebody sent me a couple jewels yesterday, which converts to rubies on my end. Thank you. Somebody else said they tried to send some and it didn't go through, but I think it was on their end. The sender can possibly reverse or stop the charge. Okay. Hey, Kellyanne Sullivan, how you doing? So yeah, that's that. You know, we got a broken ring lamp, and whoever took all these people out, it could have been several people. You know, the messages sometimes go so fast when I have so many people in the room here. You know, who knows? But I've had to just slim down the mods, and I had to reinstate anybody that got kicked out. So if all of a sudden people are getting notifications again, like, hey, April Davis is live, and you didn't see them in the last few days, that's because things were out of control. Let's see. Kathy Mallory, how you doing? And once again, I am on the cell phone and I have the iPad right next to me. Hopefully, I'm seeing all the messages because you know that they've been having those issues too, that not all the messages are showing up from a mobile device. But YouTube is pushing the vertical lives right now from cell phones. And the reason they're doing that is because 60 to 70% of the viewers are watching YouTube on a cell phone, just like people that are watching TikTok. Now, I have a TikTok account, but I haven't been active on it in years. It's still open, but YouTube is pushing this. So if I sit at the computer and go horizontal, maybe 3 people, maybe 2 are going to come in if I'm lucky. So that's why, it's like I got to change something up to get this thing going. So I started true crime because that's something I'm, kind of a professional at as far as being a detective. And I decided we're going to just do this vertical off a cell phone. But, there's microphone issues. Today, there's a ring light issue. These are all things that can be worked out at some point, if assuming that the channel makes any money. Because so far, the March balance, which was only 6 days worth, just carried over until April. And that means if I make enough in April, then that'll carry over till May 21st. So depending on what I make this month or don't make this month, I may or may not see something May 21st. But I have had to order all the new mics because that was the tripod tipped over and smashed my receiver and smashed my adapter. And you can't buy just the receiver. You have to buy the whole new mic packet. So that's happened. And today we're looking at probably at least $40 just to get the free delivery tomorrow morning on the ring lamp. So now that, it took 12 minutes to get people here and to go through all that. I have a few notes today. And I know this is an old case. We're going to talk a little bit about Adam Walsh today. Somebody here recommended that I do it. And I asked some people yesterday, like, hey, would you want to talk about that? And several people wrote me back and said, yeah, I'd love to hear about that. So I know we're talking about something that was more than 40 years ago, but I want to talk about it a little bit. And I'm sure most of you people here know who Adam Walsh is. He was that little, 7-year-old boy in Hollywood, Florida. There he is. That disappeared July 27th, 1981. And sadly, within a few weeks, in August of 81, there were some human remains. Now, I have to be very careful of my wording here because it is monetized now. There were some human remains that were found off of a Florida highway south of Vero Beach. Yeah, it was a very sad story. And I remember that because at the time, I was still a child too. An older child, but I was a child too, and we lived in the state next door to Florida. But we lived near the Florida Panhandle. This happened down near Miami in Hollywood. And I'd heard of that before because my mom had a friend that went back. They knew her since they got married, my parents, and she and her kids had moved to Hollywood, Florida. And so I met those kids like around 76, 77, and I was like, as soon as this case came up, I was like, oh, Hollywood, Florida? Like, I remember that place, even though I've never been to Hollywood, Florida. Well, not even a few weeks later, probably early mid-August of the same year, they found these, very partial remain of a child. And the parents apparently at the time, I'm sure I saw this then, but it's hard to remember. It was so many years ago. They did a press conference and said, well, we are hoping that he will still be found alive, meaning that they didn't believe that that was necessarily him. And they offered a $100,000 cash reward, which in today's terms, that would be like $300,000 to $400,000. $100K, that was a lot of money back in 81. That could buy you a house and a car. $100,000 went a lot further than it does now. $100,000 today won't last most people a year. But that was a huge reward. And so they were hopeful that that wasn't him, even though it was sad that somebody was found. They were hopeful that it wasn't him. And the police very, very quickly, maybe too quick, jumped the gun and just identified him allegedly per dental records. But there was never an autopsy because they basically didn't have most of the body, and the piece that they had remained in a morgue for 27 years until 2008. Okay, like I'm not kidding. The remains that were found were placed in a morgue unavailable to the family for burial or cremation until 2008. And a few years later, this guy here, I don't have OBS yet, don't know how to work. I mean, I have it, but don't know how to work it. This guy, Otis O'Toole, who was a convicted arsonist and an unaliver, he came forward like October 83, I think. It was more than 2 years after all of this had happened. And he confessed to the crime. But apparently this guy was super low IQ. He had mental disabilities. And he and another convicted unaliver who were friends in the penitentiary, apparently over the years, they may have confessed to over anywhere between 100 and 200 crimes that they were never involved in. And the police, I remember when this guy, when he came forward in prison, that the police never even, nobody even charged him. He didn't need to be arrested, obviously. He was already in prison for life. But nobody filed additional charges against this guy. This guy never faced a trial or was sentenced. He was already in for life. But normally they will charge somebody even after the fact, especially a case this big, and they didn't. And that told me, because I was just before I was starting my detective career, because I started like in the mid-'80s. But my investigative mind went, this is the biggest case on the planet for the last couple years, at least here in the United States. And it's very shocking to me that they're not charging this guy. Let's see. I got to take somebody out. Goodbye. Okay. They were very, very quick to say, this is the guy, and Adam Walsh and supposedly his wife were satisfied with this guy confessing, even though he was a serial crime confessor of crimes that he didn't commit. There was always a question in my mind that, well, sometimes they won't, but usually they do, because Cody says because he was in for life. They should have charged this guy. There should have been a trial. There should have been witnesses. They didn't. So, but this guy, he's already locked up. Adam Walsh, by that time, they felt closure. He started America's Most Wanted. And a few years, well, quite a few years, a number of years, 20-some years later, in 2007, here comes the Jeffrey Dahmer case comes down the pike. Thanks for taking somebody out to my mod. Thank you so much. Remember, this happened in 81 with Adam. This guy in 83 confesses. The police, they don't close the file until 27 years later in 2008. And this guy has long been deceased behind bars and buried at the Florida Penitentiary graveyard. Like, nobody even came to claim this guy. This guy was an awful human being. So, 2007, a year before the Walsh case is closed, Jeffrey Dahmer comes along, and his own father calls into America's Most Wanted, which was hosted by Adam's father, John Walsh, and he went to catch many criminals during the years that he broadcast that show. I remember it was on Fox Channel 11 here in LA. And Jeffrey Dahmer's own father called in and said, my son is a pedo. I don't know if I can say that word, but my son is a pedo. And that he lived in Miami at the time of the Adam Walsh disappearance and subsequent unaliving. Now, not only did Jeffrey Dahmer's father drop the dime on his own son, but once that case was broadcast nationwide because that was a huge case. There were not one, not two, not three, but 7 witnesses that came forward, 7, who say they were in Hollywood, Florida, and they were at that shopping center or near that store. It was a Sears in Hollywood, Florida, that was connected to a shopping mall, or they were in the parking lot and they saw somebody in the toy department near that child, or saw him struggling to capture a young male and throw him in a blue van and drive off. Thank you, Kathy. We are not victims of our family by knowing them. Let's see. Oh, you guys are talking about dinner. I was like, what? I'm totally lost here. So thank you. Thank you, everybody. So all these years, like 26 years pass or something, and the Jeffrey Dahmer case comes out. And over the years, there's been 7 people that came forward and went, that's the guy. That's the guy I saw in the department store, and he was in the toy section. That fits the description of a guy. There was a blonde man with a protruding chin that was stuffing some child, like a screaming child, into a van, a blue van. Now, separate from those 7 witnesses, and this is unbelievable, on that highway where they found a part of a child in a canal, there was a man that was traveling on the same highway, and he noticed a blue van over in the emergency lane and a guy walking from that van into the canal carrying a white bucket. Now, people also in Hollywood, Florida, saw a blonde man put a child into a blue van. So now they question, because at that time, the Adam Walsh case had still not been finalized. It was still considered open. They never even tried the guy that confessed. They still left that case open. And then when this whole Jeffrey Dahmer thing blew up, they interviewed Jeffrey behind bars. And he said, I've already told you everything. I've confessed to every single person, even who I consumed. We have to be very careful what we say here. And if I did that, why wouldn't I tell you? Well, because you're a psycho, and it's one of the biggest missing children's cases that's ever happened in our country. And if you were to confess to that, you'd probably be dead behind bars in the next 15 minutes. Now, I should say unalive behind bars in the next 15 minutes. Now, it didn't take long once he got to state prison in Wisconsin that other inmates did serve justice and unalived Jeffrey Dahmer. And not having anything to do with Adam Walsh, because he said, I wasn't involved. But, I don't necessarily believe everything that a serial unaliver states, because this person is messed up. Okay. And this guy, this O'Toole, or not O'Toole, but Toole. His first name is Otis, so I'm thinking O'Toole, like the name O'Toole. Otis Toole. He doesn't look anything like Jeffrey Dahmer. The guy's balding with dark hair. Jeffrey Dahmer was blonde and tall and kind of looked like a church choir boy, like an altar boy. He was rather, I don't want to say good looking, but, compared to this guy, Jeffrey Dahmer could have been a model, compared to this guy. 2 different body descriptions, completely. Now, I don't know the height and weight of this guy. I think Jeffrey Dahmer's like maybe 6 feet, 6'1", blonde hair, glasses. But I didn't know, and maybe because in 2007, when all this came out, I was very busy with my business, and I had just sponsored my Thai family, and we were going through legal stuff, and there was so much happening in my life. I don't even remember hearing the story that Jeffrey Dahmer was brought in as a possible person instead of this guy. Because I always question, like, I don't think it's that guy. He's probably just, there's a lot of people that confess to crimes that they didn't commit. Hello, Boston Bill. Dahmer was young too. Yes, he was. And the reason they kind of thought that it wasn't Dahmer is because the boys that he admired were a little bit older than little 7-year-old Adam. But, we're talking about a serial killer here. And you remember, Dahmer, he liked to remove certain body parts and keep them as trophies. And they never found the rest of Adam Walsh. They never found anything but, let's just say, the upper part of the body without the body, because I don't want to get in trouble here with YouTube. Let me look for a picture here that I just had. Oh, this picture here. They didn't have all of him. And believe me, they searched and searched and searched. Well, where is he? And, with Dahmer's MO, there was a lot of people that were young men or boys that were found as trophies, in the refrigerators or freezers in his apartment. So anything is possible. Yes, when you are in, Tricia says, yes, when you are already doing life in prison, it's normal to try to claim other crimes to build your cred. Yes, absolutely. You ever see some of the pictures from Dahmer? He was a sick man. Yes, he was. And he started out with animal abuse and animal unalivings, which is a very typical behavior for future serial unalivers. I spoke to a friend of mine. He claims they're completely lost on this case. Which case? You mean what we're talking about today? Adam Walsh? Or are you talking about another case? Let me... Oh, I didn't see this. Oh, hi, Rita. I'm sorry I missed you. Kathy says, I can't wait till tomorrow. I'm going to become a member. Oh, do you mean a member of my channel? Thank you. Is that what you're trying to say? So, yeah, we were talking about, for Boston Bill, who's one of my good followers here, one of my favorite subs. We were talking about the Adam Walsh case that happened in 81, and then a man confessed behind bars in 83. But yet, the police never closed the case until 2008. And before they did, in 2007, the whole Jeffrey Dahmer case blew up, and 7 people that were in the state of Florida, in Hollywood, Florida, that were at or near that Sears the day of the Adam Walsh crime, which was July 27th, 1981. 7 different people came forward pointing Dahmer as the true suspect in all of this. Wow, 15 people and only 6 thumbs up. Can you guys smash that like button? Hit those red hearts because it'll boost the YouTube algorithm. They'll see that people are liking this video and they'll, put more people into the room. I know it's a little early today, but I have a plumber coming between 4 and 6, and I didn't want him to interrupt our show. I mean, I guess he could just walk in and jump over all these cords. Let's see. Yeah, Dahmer was a creepy guy. But, he was completely different looking than this Otis Toole, whose picture I showed. This guy here doesn't look anything like Jeffrey Dahmer. And nobody saw this guy. Everybody saw a blonde man with a protruding chin that was driving a blue van. And apparently he lived in Miami Beach at the time and worked for a company in Miami. I don't know what he did, but the company owned a blue van. And all these things. The Guthrie case. Yeah, it's a total mess. It's been a mess since day one. That is cannibalism. Yes. And, it's very rare to see a missing child found in that condition. It's extremely rare. And this guy, this Otis Toole, claims that he took him in a white Cadillac and used a machete. Okay? So when the police started looking into all of this, because remember, Otis Toole was already in prison, not at the time of Walsh's disappearance, but at the time that he confessed that he did it. The evidence in his case had been misplaced. They had saved a piece of carpet that was bloodstained from his Cadillac, it was never found again. The machete was never found again. When Adam Walsh was found, there was no DNA evidence in the world. They saved the body part until 2008 when it was finally released by the morgue. But there was never an autopsy. There was never DNA testing. It didn't exist then. And apparently they identified him through a dental report, but the records, many of the records and boxes of evidence from that case has since either disappeared or been misplaced. Now think about that. Maybe this is not like people thought it was at all. Let me just take a sip of my diet ginger beer. I know I'm early. There's not a lot of people here. Hopefully people will see this on the replay. But things are not as they necessarily appeared to be at the crime, or at the time of the crime. And I think John Walsh just wanted to believe, like, okay, this guy did it, because they just wanted to have closure. And then John Walsh went on to do wonderful things. And, he started America's Most Wanted, and the National Center for Exploited and Missing Children formed after the whole Adam Walsh thing. Many laws were changed by Congress after that case. That boy, as terrible as it was, a lot of positive things came out of that case. But things are not always as they appear. Boston, I thought it was those two guys. Gotcha, already did. Okay. Oh, now we're talking about Nancy. Thank you, Exon. Yeah, they wanted closure. But, if they really thought it was Mr. Toole, why didn't they just charge him with it? They never did. Someone has been paying some people to cover other people's behind. I think we're talking about Nancy now. Jason says, hello, Wisconsin, we had a lot of kidnappings in Madison lately, the capital, and these people were found hours later alive. Makes me think God bless. Everybody's welcome here, JP Clips. Now, since all you guys in the chat seem to be talking about Nancy, because I know a lot of you are probably not interested in, something that happened over 40 years ago. I got a few things to mention about Nancy. I almost hate to go into this, but I was doing some more deep diving on the internet. Not a good sleeper, especially around the time of a full moon. So I was doing a deep dive. And I don't know if this story is true, but someone was saying that the FBI, that they're going in a whole different direction now, and they're looking at a specific group, and I won't say which group, but that aligns, if that's even true, it could be a BS story, that aligns with the tip that I called in to the FBI. But the FBI wouldn't take me seriously, and I don't think the rep even wrote it down. Several of you have kind of pushed at me and said, April, you should call the FBI again. Maybe you'll get a different rep. And I didn't want to do that, but now I'm thinking that maybe I should do that, because I still, I have a screenshot in my phone of the date and the time and how many minutes it took to just get that little piece of information over to them. But if the lady didn't type it into the screen, it's not going to mean anything. But I was just like, oh my God, there's somebody else out there that sees what I see as a possibility. Because remember, I'm not investigating the case. I'm just reporting on this case. I'm not in Arizona. I'm a licensed detective, but I have experience. And there were just certain things that I noticed from the moment that Google released the video from the Nest Cam that was taken, but they got limited video of the masked guy. I noticed something. And then as time went on and all these different characters started coming out in this case, by about, I'd say maybe the 13th or the 14th of February, and that was only 2 weeks into this, I basically was like, oh, wait a minute, I can connect this dot to this dot to this dot. This is a possibility. And the police and the FBI, well, the FBI, they're not talking at all, which I agree with, but the police had never, ever even mentioned this. Jason says, thank you, mods. May God bless the family. And Nancy, end of today's show. Must be hard on them. It's awful. You're looking back at the sun. Kathy says, I was in California at that time. At what time, Kathy? I've missed some things here. What have I missed? So basically, I guess what I'm saying is I'm reconsidering because of what you guys have urged me to do here and in the comments. A lot of people are sending me messages saying you should call the FBI again. And I don't know if he's a viable suspect. Well, I don't know if he's the person who did it, but it was a man that I dropped a dime on. I think he could very well be involved in that person's whereabouts has been unaccounted for since about the day after this crime. And you remember what the police said, don't just look at what you saw as evidence, but look at some of the things that seemed a little off after the fact, like maybe somebody disappeared or somebody took a trip or somebody took an unscheduled flight or somebody didn't show up to work or somebody suddenly moved, somebody, sold their vehicle or closed out their apartment or just, abandoned. I'm looking up because we are on PIP watch today in California for 2 days, waiting for these baby eagles, these little eaglets to hatch, but so far no sign of pipping. But the mama bird just stood up and I had to look to see. They zoom in with the camera and I was like, oh, are there any pips yet? I'm obsessed with these birds. So, hi Heidi, how are you? So, yeah, I am reconsidering that I might contact the FBI and just drop this name again. And if they start pushing me as to why, because the lady before, she was really mean. And she's like, is this because of things you've seen in the media? And I wanted to say no, because I'm a detective and I've investigated probably 1,000 death cases in my life and thousands, or not thousands, but dozens of homicides. And I've even solved some for the police that they couldn't solve. And even though I'm not investigating this case, I've been following it since the night that it happened. They announced it Sunday evening. It was already in the news. And I was like, oh my God, that's the daughter, or that's the mother of Savannah Guthrie. Like, oh my God, somebody was probably after Savannah. Yeah, I am a real detective, Roscoe, for 42 years. Yeah. Well, I got licensed in 92. I was in training from 84 and then got my license in 92. And I only did it full time, though, for 35 years because if you've been watching my channel, in 2019, I was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer and I had to basically retire. So welcome in, Roscoe. So I will call them and say, listen, I called before and the person didn't take me seriously. But it's weird that I just came across this page and people were talking about, hey, I just, I've got some inside information from the FBI. And of course, it could all be BS. But somebody had some information saying that the FBI, they're looking at a totally different direction now. And they're looking at a group of people. And this male that I just tried to call into the tip line, he is part of that group that they may or may not be looking into. Like I said, it could all be BS, but I just think that, I don't know, maybe, what do you guys think? Should I call the tip line one more time, the 1-800-CALL-FBI? Have you heard anything about the earthquake yesterday? The one in Indonesia or the one in California? There was one that hit the San Francisco Bay Area while I was lying in bed, and I started seeing messages come across saying, did anybody feel that? It was coming across on threads, and they were saying California. And I was like, what? I'm right here. Like, I didn't feel a thing. But California is a big place. It was south of the Bay Area. And Roscoe says, yes, I would call. Well, thank you, Roscoe. Yeah, I'm, and if I do, I'll screenshot it again like I did the last one, because God forbid this guy ends up going down. Uh, Savannah or somebody's going to have to write me a portion of that check. And that's not why I'm calling this in. I don't care about the money. That's not why I'm doing YouTube. It's not about the money. But YouTube, over the last 5+ years, has become a very expensive venture for me. And that first check, whenever it comes, is not even going to cover, 5+ years of expenses. If I live another 20 years, I probably won't make enough on YouTube to cover all the expenses. And considering everything that's happened to my health, I probably don't have another 20 years. I don't know. Maybe I'll go live on my birthday, on the evening of my birthday, depending on what I do. Because now I got to pay for this. It's just now hanging. The whole mechanism is busted. Just pisses me off. Thank you, Roscoe. I appreciate the sub. Yeah. Yeah, the sub mark, it's gone way up. Let me check on the back end here. Let me bring it up. I got the iPad right next to me. I still got to pay that off. I've made 2 payments on this sucker. When I was full-time, I could have just paid this with cash in my pocket instead of having to make 6 months worth of payment on the friggin' iPad. It's up to $2,326. And I just recently hit the 2K mark. So that shocks me that I just recently, it was a few weeks ago, I hit 2K. And I'm already up to 2326. Now that's still a very small channel, but let's try to get it up to 2500. And then once we get it up to there, let's get it up to, if we can get it up to 3000, that would just blow my mind. I know, it's crazy. Kathy says, it is crazy windy here. I have had to pick up my dumpster 3 times today. And where are you at, Kathy? I know we've talked about this before, but there's so many people to remember. Kathy says, your sister lives in the San Francisco Bay Area. Did she feel the earthquake? It was originally reported as a 4.9, but it was downgraded to a 4.6. And just before it happened, they did send the quake alert out, which I was just talking about on yesterday's show. They sent the quake alert out to people in the Bay Area because they thought it was going to be around a 5. And then it turned out to be 4.9 and downgraded to 4.6. So did she feel it? April appreciates every single one of you with so many other options. It's so wonderful that y'all chose to spend your time here. Missouri, that's what I thought. You're the one that lives on the fault line, right? That big fault that goes through the earthquake fault that goes through the Midwest, but particularly Missouri. Let's see. 2K. Yeah, isn't that shocking? You can't hear me now. Well, let me go to YouTube. Can anybody else hear me? Up to 3,000? That would just. I can hear me. Yeah, I just checked on the iPad. Can anybody else hear me? Can somebody type that in? Okay. Tricia says she can hear me. Tanape says they can hear me. And Tricia says, I live on the New Madrid fault line in Indiana. Wow. Crimson, welcome in. You live in Jacksonville. I didn't mention it, but this guy here that we talked about earlier regarding the Adam Walsh case, he was from Jacksonville. So funny. I didn't even mention that, and now somebody is in here from Jacksonville. What a small world. And, oh, Fluffy Cat's Place. Welcome in. Hey, Joseph, welcome in. Robert lives in Jersey. I spent a lot of time in Jersey. Jay says, never felt earthquake in Missouri, have felt in central Indiana. Wow, that's crazy. Joseph says, I'm coming in loud and clear. Oh, is somebody saying that there's some tornado warnings? Is that in the Midwest? Yeah, it's that sketchy time of year between, well, it's already spring, but not too far into spring. We just passed winter, so yeah, it seems this is the time of year where the tornadoes can happen because Kathy says she has no audio. Crimson, welcome in. You live in Jacksonville. I can hear it. If you guys can't hear, can somebody type into the chat, maybe go out and come back in? I saw a wall move once at work, never thought an earthquake. Told my boss I was woozy, needed to go home. She said, nice try, it was a small quake. Oh, thank you, Trisha. Kathy, go out and come back. Shut down your YouTube tab. Yeah, everything's good on my end. That's why I have the iPad running right beside me. Oh, you're in Marana. Terry Lynn, oh, welcome back. I've seen you before. So you live in the same neighborhood, allegedly, of Dominic Evans. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen my suspect video, and these are just some of the potential people of interest, not in any specific order, except for the order that their names came out in the story of this big saga. You can see that under my video tab. That's my long format. And it's only got like 100+ views. And I spent like days working on that. It's not like just turning on the live button and here I am. So that's kind of disappointing because people that have seen it said, oh, I really like this video and this is really good. And, you know, I don't really know how to edit very well, but they like the information that I provided. So, Kathy says, I am not happy. I think my speaker's blue. Well, if you're watching this on the replay, Kathy, and you can hear me, I'm sorry. You know, today the ring lamp blew. And a few weeks ago, I lost my microphone receiver and my adapter. And before the show today, I almost lost the charger that goes into the Apple MagSafe. And if I used a backup charger, then I wouldn't be able to plug in my mics. I'm sorry, Kathy. Amazon. Will you have Amazon? Amazon has been a lifesaver for me, especially with being disabled. Amazon is a lifesaver. Jay said she watched half of it and then my live came on. Oh, okay. You mean regarding the suspect video. Thank you, Jay. That's kind of interesting. Oh, and in the video, I noticed this later because I noticed I had a couple like wrong spellings and I went back and fixed it, but then had to reload everything again and again and again. And I finally got it to go through. I then, after, there goes the chords. After I fixed some of the spelling errors, because I just, you know, I type like this, 2 fingers, I noticed that the name Jaghoub, it's Jaghoub, and I typed J-A-J, and I know what his name is. I know all the names of all the potential people, but yeah, Jaghoub, that's a Persian name. That was spelled wrong just because it was a typo. So I apologize. I pinned that in the comments. Because people are going to look at that and they're going to go, oh, she's so stupid she couldn't even get Jaghoub spelled right. And I'm not Persian, but I know how to spell. Can Kathy hear now? Hey, Jane Rice. Did Jamie James come in? Hey, Jamie. Kathy says, no, she can't. April needs to learn American Sign Language. Oh, that would be hard. That would fix it, Kathy. I'm so sorry. And she's like yelling at the screen right now, like, I can't hear you. More bucks at Wally World. Yep. For me, it's Amazon. It's frustrating. Just since I started this series on Nancy Guthrie, I've had to replace the microphones, and I still don't have the ones that I want. And now I got to replace the ring lamp. It's like, you know, my first check is not even here yet, and it's already gone. Like, oh my God. As Rosanna Dana would say, It's always something. Nana Rosanna Dana would actually say that. You guys are probably too young to know that reference, but Nana Rosanna Dana would always say, it's always something. Kathy is lip reading. I'm sorry, Kathy. Oh, that's so sad. I'm sorry, Kathy. Let me minimize this so I can go back to. I need to see the chat. Where's the darn chat? Well, now I got to take it down so I can see it. Okay, something times out here. I hate the way to navigate the new iPad. It's got like a green light, a yellow light, and a red light. Just let me, do like this instead of having to find these little dots and these little different colored lights. So let me reopen it here. 15 people watching. 16 thumbs up. And let's see how much time we have on this. 10 minutes, it says. Okay. We're just waiting for the plumber. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but the upstairs unit is vacuuming for the third time today. I hate to say this, April, but showing a little leg on the corner probably going to get you more coin than YouTube these days. Oh, was I showing part of my leg? Or somebody wants me to show part of my leg. Nothing to see here. I would too. I have learned a little modified ASL through a family on YouTube. I had a neighbor that did sign language for conferences and conventions. She showed me a lot. No, but maybe I should. Nothing to see here at my age. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Yeah, so is anybody here that's watching me now? Is anybody here old enough? Because I know I have a lot of older people watching according to YouTube analytics. Does anybody here know the case that we talked about earlier today, Adam Walsh? Was anybody even alive? I was when that case happened, but was anybody else? Because if you missed the beginning of this, you may want to go back on the replay. And we don't talk about it too much. I mean, there's like tons of information, but this case is so old. I just wanted to say that things are not always as they appear. Oh, and there was something that came up on this case that I forgot to mention, and this was mind-bending. There's people that have written books. Of course, there's tons of them. It's just like the John Benet Ramsey case. All these true crime cases have people. Let me see. I had it saved right here. There's some guy that wrote a book on this. Many people have. You just have to go to Amazon. A lot of these books aren't even available anymore, except for like in like old used paperback. There's a book that's called "Who Really Killed Adam Walsh," and they talk about not only this Otis Toole, but the Jeffrey Dahmer angle. But they also talk about there's a conflict in the dental information. And remember, all those records disappeared. And they're saying that the person who was partially recovered at that scene of that canal along the highway just south of Vero Beach, that there was something about a long front tooth, but Adam Walsh had lost his teeth and they hadn't grown back in yet, like the permanent teeth. And that, I would think that they positively ID'd the remains with dental records back in the day. But this person, whoever wrote this book, is implying that there's some sort of a cover-up, and that wasn't even him. Now, I never went down that rabbit hole. Like, can you imagine if that's not Adam Walsh, and that is somebody that Jeffrey Dahmer did take out, instead of this possible or probable fake confession by this Otis guy? Wonder if that is somebody else, and it wasn't even him. Like, I would hate to think that, like, let's not even go there, that how would you solve all this now with all this missing evidence? It's crazy that there's all these theories out there. How is Crimson number one? I haven't seen one message. Oh, you mean these little crown things. Is that what this is next to the little purple things that say number 2, I just see number 2 up there, and that's Kathy. Let me click it and see what it means. Yeah, it says Crimson number 1, Crimson de Goober, Kathy number 2, and Roscoe number 3. Now, is that just for today, for this video, or is that like maybe for all videos? I don't know how they tabulate that. Exactly. If a tooth was wrong, why would Walsh go along with it? Because they were like, well, one was just starting to come in, but if he was deceased for 2 weeks, a tooth doesn't grow after you're deceased. So I kind of like think that apparently they've interviewed people that knew him at the time that were like, oh no, he didn't have his teeth yet. So who knows? But there's definitely, hey Josh, there's definitely a problem as far as, was it the guy that confessed who falsely confessed to anywhere between 100 and 200 crimes? And he had a little partner in prison, might have been a boyfriend, who he would discuss these things with, and then that guy would back up his story and vice versa. They would always back each other up. And, they may have falsely confessed to hundreds of crimes that they were never even a part of. And, him claiming that he used a white Cadillac when there's all these witnesses that have come forward saying that they saw a man get out of a blue van that was carrying a white bucket down to that canal. And then people that were in the parking lot, they were like, yeah, I saw a man with blonde hair and a protruding chin taking a child and stuffing him into a car. And the kid was screaming, and he drove off in a blue van. Like, what? And I could see maybe 1 or 2 crazies or wackadoodles coming out of the woodwork just for some attention. But 7 people coming forward saying they saw a blue van, or they saw a guy that fit Dahmer's description in the toy department of that Sears. And they remember that day because these are people that lived in Hollywood, Florida, the day that this happened. And it was big news. So people remember, like, this is where I was when this case happened. Like, I remember where I was the night of the Menendez killings, or unalivings, I should say, to be proper on YouTube. I remember exactly where I was and what I was doing and what the radio first announced. Like, I remember exactly where I was. I remember the OJ thing because that happened in the neighborhood that I worked in. The Rob Reiner thing happened in the neighborhood that I used to work in. The Marilyn Monroe thing happened in the neighborhood I used to work in. I wasn't alive when that happened, but, there's big questions regarding that. Like, if you were in Hollywood, Florida that day, and then this case came out all over the news, you would remember, especially if you were in that store or you were in that mall parking lot, you would be like, oh my God, I was there when that happened, and I was there with my kids, or I was a kid and I was there walking around, you would remember that for the rest of your life. And so when Dahmer came into the picture in 2007, people were like, hey, I know that guy. And I wasn't even aware that back in that time, because he wasn't even known yet. He was a very young man. He was living in Miami Beach. So things are not always as they appear. I'm sure that John Walsh, if he's watching this, he would say this is all BS and don't stir the pot about this. And I'm not doing it for clicks. I'm doing it because someone in my chat said, can you talk about the Adam Walsh case someday? Or do you remember that? And then I was like, maybe I should do a video on that. And people were like, yeah, I think you should. And I haven't forgot about Nancy. We already talked about Nancy a little bit today regarding I may have to recall the FBI just because they, my tip wasn't taken seriously. And then I go on a deep dive last night on the net, and I find out that, allegedly a source has revealed that the FBI is now going in a different direction that would kind of point towards a certain group of people that my guy that I dropped a dime on might be included in that group. And if that comes out that it's that guy, I'm going to lose my mind. And I'm going to call Savannah myself. I mean, I'm a detective. I have access. I can get social security numbers, phone numbers, private cell numbers, addresses. It doesn't matter who you are. I could find her number in under 5 minutes if I had to. I could find it just about the time it would take me to sign in and go, there she is. I could have her driver's license. I'm not going to because I'm not investigating Savannah Guthrie. But if I wanted to, I could have her number in 3 minutes, 5 minutes max. Just the time that it would take me to F around with all the different passcodes and verifications. And then just type it in and boom, there she is. I can see every address she's ever lived her adult life. I'm sure she's not going to answer her phone, but you know what? Somebody needs to get a message to the Guthrie family. Like, why is this still going on 60 plus days later? Why? It's uncalled for. This should have been solved. This should have been solved within the first 24 to 48 hours. And the fact that it isn't, that's on Nanos. That's going to be on his conscience for the rest of his life. Jamie James, that's a great idea. I wouldn't do it, but I need a whole plate. Okay. Oh, I missed. You guys are talking about food. Good thing I'm missing those comments because I don't have time to eat before the plumber gets here. Hopefully this one's actually going to show up. The last one, there was some mistake by the manager, and she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was my fault." And the plumber that's coming now is the usual plumber, and he's the one that he fixes it. He does a good job, but then a month later, it's the same problem again. Oh, jeez. Start a goal. I don't want to start a goal. Start another. Now it's telling me to pick a super chat or a gift. And it's telling me to pick amounts. I don't want to pick amounts. This is crazy. Do I even have to turn this on? Why does it ask me this during every live? I don't want to. You know what? Maybe I'm just going to leave that goal button alone in future videos because this is too distracting. This little clock running out and the people getting upset like, oh, I tried to send you something and you didn't get it. I'm going to go all of aprildavispi and watch every video and make a comment. Oh, thank you. See, that'll help because apparently I'm not making very much on the views thus far. If it weren't for some of these super chats, super thanks, and these little stickers, man, I wouldn't have nothing. Trisha, you go, girl. Kathy Mowry, I will be here forever, #1. It's my right. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, and like I said earlier, if you weren't here earlier, I had to go into the back end of YouTube, into Studio, and figure out how to adjust settings. And I found out that a lot of my mods were blocking people, and only one person ever has been blocked on this channel, and that was a couple years ago, and it was a female, and I think she was writing me from a mental health facility. That's the only person I've ever blocked. I've never blocked anybody. So there's people that are probably really mad at me this week going, I'm never going to watch your channel again. And, F you. And, I sent you all these super chats and I hate you. And like, I didn't take anybody out. So I had to put everybody back in and I got my mods down from like 7 people to like 3. And you must have survived, Trisha, because here you are. Thank you. Kathy, I type a lot in the side chat. One time a creator asked the side chat how many comments they thought Trisha did in the previous live. 500 comments. People hated me. Comment all you want. I appreciate it. It boosts the algorithm. And that's why I only put people on like a 24-hour timeout if they get, naughty in here because I still want those people to come in and watch my channel. Sorry, April Davis PI, but I can't hear you and I got off on a tangent. Oh, yeah, your speakers blew out. Hopefully you can hear me when you watch this on the replay after you replace your speakers. Or watch on your phone. She must be watching on a computer, I'm assuming, a laptop or a desktop, and she lost her speakers. I'll type her a message. Can I do that? Don't even know. Can I type? Kathy, you can hear me with new speakers on the, see, I'm typing with one finger. Send. Did it send? Kathy, you can hear me with new speakers on the replay. I know she can't hear it, but she can read the chat. So this is a side chat. Oh, okay. No problem. Wow, 15 people watching. Oh, 18 thumbs up. That must be for people that came in earlier because we only have 15 people left. Trisha's asking, are you on a PC, laptop, phone, or iPad, Kathy? Yeah, and apparently that makes a difference because if you're on a desktop, a laptop, or an Android device, my channel would gain almost 70% of a super chat or a super thanks. But if you're on an Apple device, there's an Apple tax, and I will receive less than 50% of the donation. So if anybody's considering a donation, there are links on the home page. Just click that little icon. It'll take you to the home page, the little icon on my face. You can click that. It'll take you to the home page and then go into the channel description. Did I hear about the girl they found after 32 years? Only through people's comments. People have been sending me comments today or messages about that. That is where I am not seeing very many of mine and yours. It did not work. I tried. What didn't work? Oregon? Yeah, just go into YouTube and type April Davis PI and you'll see my channel pop up. Or if you're watching, let's see. Let me bring this up. Yeah, see, this is my home page. And that's where all my videos are. If you guys can't get to my home page, then you're not seeing all my other videos. That's why the view count's way down for the long form content videos because people are just watching the lives. But I have a whole bunch of long form content. Sometimes unsub and resub helps. That's true, Trisha. And I have some shorts, but apparently they only make like 1/3 of a penny. So, I mean, you can watch them, but it doesn't help the channel at all. I may just stop making them altogether. It's a waste of my time. YouTube is pushing that because they don't want to have to pay anybody. Yeah, put that in there, Trisha. Thank you for putting that in there. I mean, sometimes unsub and resub. So let me bring this up. As you can, it's probably showing different on an iPad than, okay, let me see if I can do this. See, you guys are watching this. You're watching a vertical live, whether you're on a phone or you're on a computer. This is a vertical live. Now, if you want to see the whole picture, you got to be watching on a cell phone. But see my little avatar there? It's hard to push it in reverse, but that brings me to the channel page. And then you can go click all the tabs that say Home, Videos, Shorts, Live, Playlist, Posts, and Membership. And then underneath my name where it says April Davis PI, there's a channel description. And it tells you how many subscribers, how many videos, my bio. Then you just click the More button, and this whole page of everything comes up. It's got the business address, the email, all the channel links, my eBay store, my whatnot store, all that's in there. Should you unsubscribe and sub again? You can try it. Just hit unsubscribe and then resubscribe. Oh, you did, Recluse, and you love my cat. Which one? The one that I have now or the Alfie who passed who was the love of my life? I mean, I love them all, don't get me wrong, but do you mean Kelsa, who was the calico kitty, or the giant 28-pound tuxedo cat? Okay, that was a failure. Yes, Jamie, if you are having issues with delayed notifications or trouble navigating the page. Yeah, you can always like unsubscribe and resubscribe. Oh, the calico. Yeah, that's Kelsa. Crazy Kelsa. Who was named after my deceased close friend who just had her birthday on the 28th in heaven. And she was as crazy as that darn cat. That cat is the ghost of Kelsa. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah, when you resubscribe or subscribe for the first time, hit the bell icon for all the notifications. Okay, Kathy says, hold on, I'm going to restart my computer, be back in a few. Jamie says, I can believe it. What, that the cat is possessed by the ghost of the woman she was named after? People go, oh, Kelsa, that's such an unusual name for a cat. Well, that's because she is the reincarnation of Kelsa Kinsley. Oh. Kathy, I will hold your crown for you. That's funny. Yeah, the bunny's on there too. Alfie's on there. The bunny, Amelia Kinsley bunny's on there, and Kelsa Kitty's on there. And pretty soon I should be getting ready for the plumber. But you know what? When they tell you 4 to 6, is he coming at 4:01 or is he coming at, 5:55? And I want to be able to, I've been drinking this diet soda. I want to be able to, use the restroom before he comes in and, has the bathroom all torn apart. Definitely got to do that before 4. Because this time I want him to fix it, however long it takes. Because God forbid that some of my, Thai family actually shows up on my birthday. I'm sure they're going to want to be able to use the restroom and be able to wash their hands after and not have a sink full of water. And the sink is really tiny. The vanity that they ordered when they replaced things in my bathroom it's about this wide. I can get one hand at a time into the sink. It's made for the little people, as are the parking spaces here. Like, unbelievable. And that's not a knock against disabled people. I'm just saying, like, everything's made for the little people. I think this building years ago was built, and then after the Northridge earthquake, they had to yellow tag it or red tag it, and then they rebuilt it, and they squeezed a lot more units into, like, bigger units. And that's why all the switches are reversed, and the electrical's all screwed up, and the ventilation for the AC is all screwed up, and the windows leak, and it's just a mess. But this is where I live for now. When I moved into this place, I had sold my house in the Brady Bunch neighborhood, and I only planned to be here a year. And then I just started feeling tired and more tired and worked less and thought, well, maybe I should just stay here. And then I got sick. And then as I was recovering, then all the side effects hit from the treatment. So it looks like I'll be here until the funds run out. So I'm happy I have a roof over my head, though. Some YouTubers ask donations to be sent in other ways to avoid some of the fees. Yeah, that's why, Recluse, for those that have thought of that and are kind enough to think of that, that's why I have the links on the channel description page. There they are. Yeah, I even had to relink my cancer GoFundMe because somebody asked me to do it. And I'm not sure if it was through here. Somebody through here asked me to do it before the whole monetization thing happened. I think it was a couple months ago. Someone's like, hey, I'm trying to access that and I can't see it. So to put it back up, and now it works. And then I think it was somebody through Facebook actually gave me a really big donation, and it just like saved me since I've had all these surgeries that have come up. Our best laid plans get sidetracked by life. You know, the great John Lennon, and I know he is a controversial figure, but I loved him as a musician. He said, "Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans." Yeah, that's in one of his songs on his last album. Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. Mm-hmm. Kathy, can you hear me? Kathy, you're going to have to rewatch all of this just to be able to hear the parts that you missed. Was it your speakers? Or did you just need to, are you on a laptop or are you on a desktop or are you on a phone? I'm glad your speakers aren't blown. It'll save you a trip to Wally World. I wish I could say the same thing about the ring lamp. Oh, and I have another problem now. This has nothing to do with with true crime, but it is kind of the creeper factor. Some lady in the neighborhood who I think is fairly wealthy, she had some Halloween decor that included a large and a medium-sized tombstone sitting out near her garbage. And I drove by that thing 3 times and pulled up into the driveway, and I hesitated to pick it up because it's like, is this set out for the garbage or is she just like cleaning out her garage and she put this out on her driveway? So I was like, hello, hello. And she came out and we met and we talked, and it turned out she was a fellow sister in breast cancer. So we talked for like a half hour. Very nice woman. Joey, if you're out there, thank you so much. She even helped me lift these suckers into the car. One's in the back seat and one's in the trunk. Now these, and she said these are very old and dusty. I have not yet lifted them by myself out of the car. I have no place to store them. I am not allowed to store anything in the garage other than my car. They're too heavy to fit into the little storage bin above my car. So just before I started the live, this disappeared. So I thought, you know, I did a pickup today and I had my purse in the back seat. Maybe it fell out. So I went to look in the back of my car and there was a giant daddy long leg spider. Now, I'm not scared of spiders, but apparently I have a spider nest forming in my back seat. It must have crawled out of the tombstone that's either in the trunk or the one that's in the back seat. I'm going to have to ask my upstairs neighbor, who's a very handsome, strong guy, to come down and help me lift those suckers out of my car. I could temporarily place them in my living room, but if they have spiders inside them, I don't think that's a good idea. So tombstones, the gifts that keep on giving. Yes, I need to go out during the daylight, somehow get them out of the car. And the one that's in the trunk is turned around in reverse, and I saw some sort of a battery pack on the back. So they may like light up, but I'm gonna have to get out the screwdriver, clean all that out, see if there's old batteries in there that need to be removed. Do I need to order new batteries to see? But I'm just gonna, you know what? Since I have no place to put these things, I don't know what I was thinking. I am going to list them on Facebook Marketplace. And apparently they go for quite a bit of money. I don't know if people at Easter time are in the market for tombstones. So if you need any really cool, and these are like expensive, and this lady's house is always decked out for Halloween and Christmas, like they get professional decorators. So these are expensive, older, dusty tombstones. They probably need to be rinsed off with a garden hose. Yeah, anybody in LA and you want to come pick up a couple of tombstones, I'll sell them to you cheap on Marketplace. He may not be able to get them in the bin for you. Breaking news, Oregon News Beat. What is the breaking news, Oregon? Sorry, Tricia, I put the wrong, but we do love April too. Well, thank you. Yep, Tricia, that's a good comment. That's the #1 comment I've seen today. Tombstone's the gift to keep on giving. Oh, yeah, so that's an issue today. I've got to get the bathroom sink fixed. And I don't want to run out and handle the tombstones and miss the plumber while he's at the front door, because he'll come in through a different door. And if he parks outside, I won't necessarily see him come in. Yeah, so I don't want to miss him, but I don't want to go out and take pictures of these things out in the dark. And I need time to look to see if both of them have battery packs in the back. Are there any batteries in there? What kind of batteries do they need? Do I need to wait to turn those on at night? I got a little work to do, and then I'm gonna have to lift those suckers back into my car. But I can't have them in the back seat if I have a spider nest now in my Toyota. I don't want to be driving and something crawls over me and I have an accident or something. I do not want a spider nest in my car. And it's not hot enough now that they would die from the heat in there. They are sure if it's with the Nancy case. What about the Nancy case? Apparently they found a black bag down in Tucson. What does that mean? No, save the very good-looking man for when you have lots of time. Well, the very good-looking man, he's young enough to be my son. And so I think of him like a son. Yep. Oh, I've had sink problems in this place for almost 13 years. So waiting for that. I'm not even going to deal with the main sink right now. I'm just dealing with the bathroom sink today. And like I said, by chance that if I know some of the people are working that Sunday, but for the family members that aren't working, if they're not sick and they can actually take the baby out of the house and, the baby's probably sleeping all the time. So it's I think it's 50-50 that they'll make it here for my birthday. But if they do, I want them to be able to wash their hands in the bathroom sink. April, don't buy a ring light and a decently strong tripod for you. Don't buy a ring light. I have bought one, but it hasn't got here yet, but I can always send it back if somebody wants to send me one. April, don't buy a ring light. I definitely need a ring light and a strong tripod for that ring light. And I have another tripod that's separate from the ring light tripod that's for filming, and I use that a lot when I'm outside, like when I was at the Brady Bunch house. I used that tripod. So Oregon News Beat. What is the news? It's so funny because my little Kelsa kitty, she loves the good-looking man upstairs because he has a golden retriever that's just lovely. And she watches him every day out the window going for his little walks. And she's in love with that dog. And then the few times he's been in the apartment, she's all over him. And she's not even comfortable with my Thai family, and the mother's my best friend. She's ooh, strangers, too many people, and she hides. But she loves the guy upstairs because he's the dog man. You have one for me. Well, if you can get it to me, I would appreciate that, and then I'll just send the other one back. It's not here yet. But at least I'll have something temporary. Because this one's getting ready to catch fire from the prior bunny. I think he's in some of the videos too, the older videos. A blue Kensley bunny. And he didn't live very long, sadly. And all my bunnies live long, but that one didn't. And he chewed the cord. And this is all taped together with electrical tape. And there's parts missing. And this is a cheap one. And the one that I ordered is super cheap too. I need to order a bigger one for when I'm filming outside that, I can turn it more easily where it won't creak. One is in my closet, the other one in the dresser drawer. Oh, wow. Well, don't go to too much trouble, Kathy, because those things are big and it can cost too much to ship. That is very sweet. Yeah, somebody else on here said they had an extra one. I don't know if it was you, but somebody said they had an extra one and I never saw it. But, like I said, there was some lady that was saying she sent $100. And when I said I didn't see it, did you send it on one of the private links that's in the description of the video? Like a PayPal or a Cash App or a Venmo or something like that. She just flipped out on the channel. I think she was deranged and said I was a scammer and she was going to call the police. And then she started going after my videos and saying, I don't like you and my mother is dead. I'm like, what? And then I'm like, oh, the joys of monetization. And I haven't even seen a check yet. So, and thank you for all those that have sent the super chats and the super thanks. And I finally figured out the difference. So not only did I figure out the 0.99 thing versus the 0.00, like is it $4.99 or is it $5? I got that all straightened out because that's an Apple versus Android issue. And there's a big money difference in those. But now I got it figured out that obviously what's sent in alive is called a super chat. I knew that. But where you see the super thanks tab, that's on the long form content videos. But you can't, when you're just looking at the description, you have to slide the little icons across the screen and then you'll see a thanks button. That's like a super chat, but it's like given after the fact for like a recorded video, like a long form content. And I've only seen one of those since I got monetized. Like, I guess those are not very popular. And I think it's because YouTube, let me find a video. Let me go to the main page. Let's see, view my channel, and I'm going to hit the video tab. See, these are all the long form videos. There's like hundreds of them. And let me go to the most recent one where it says Nancy Guthrie suspects. And when the video comes up, of course, this is an iPad, so you're not going to see it the same here as you would. Where is it? Come on, let's see. Well, you can see it on an iPad. You can see the thanks button. But on a phone, you have to slide where it says thumbs up, thumbs down, share, save, thanks, clip, stop ads, report. It looks completely different on a cell phone. And apparently about 66% of you guys are watching YouTube on cell phones. So a lot of people, they don't even know that that button is there. So I think YouTube, they need to move that button closer to the top of the page. Let's see. Exactly, Trisha. This is off topic, but this is I agree with this. Jay, there is no such thing as junk food when it comes to Mexican food. Yes, that is true. And here in Los Angeles, we have authentic Mexican food. You know, that Taco Bell crap, which by the way, I've eaten it many times, that is not authentic Mexican. That is American food. Yeah. We have authentic food here that's Mexican. That's just terrific. And I could eat Mexican food every single day. Oh, welcome in, Wolf. Every single day. Like Baja Fresh and Chipotle. Ooh, I even hate to bring that up, Chipotle. There's so many things that have come out of that restaurant, but that's American Mexican. That's not authentic Mexican. I do eat at Taco Bell too, but I don't eat any of the. Well, what I miss about Taco Bell is since my cancer, I stopped eating beef, and I really love those tacos that they had. I could eat 2 or 3 of those in one serving. You know, yes, there are thousands of Mexican restaurants in Southern California, at least. I love the red beans and rice with cheese and sour cream. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, they have the bean and rice quesadilla, or not quesadilla, the burrito. And the chicken quesadilla is pretty good too. And their nachos aren't even that bad, but you know, the chemical cheese is probably not good for you. The melted chemical cheese. If you're going to have a nacho or two every now and then, it's better to eat it with some real guacamole, because guacamole is good for you. Yeah, beef taquitos, junk food. Deli Max. I don't even know what those are. I know what a beef taquito is. They sell those at 7-Eleven, and I wouldn't touch those. But I'm very leery of 7-Eleven food because I know they're hot dogs. I don't eat hot dogs anymore either because I don't eat pork or beef anymore. But their hot dogs used to be okay, not as good as AM and AM PM Market. But remember a few years ago, 7-Eleven, they had a new type of, what was in the shape of a hot dog. I hate to say this. I don't even know what kind of meat it was, but it wasn't a regular, like pork or beef hot dog. It was something that I'll probably get in trouble with YouTube, and I don't want to, but it was something that looked like a big turd. And I was like, oh my God. And they put it in the glass, the see-through glass case, and you can walk in and say, okay, I want a hot dog, I want a cheeseburger, I want a slice of pizza. And don't ever eat their chicken wings. They're just all salt. But remember did you ever have that in your state? The thing behind the counter that looked like a hot dog shaped turd. Oh, plumbers never show on time for me. Yeah, that's been my luck lately. Ah, I know, Wolfie. Or Wolfie. Wolfie. Wolf Chief. Now I got it. Wolf Chief. Oh, I like that. I wanted to say Wolfie because we used to call Alfie Wolfie. Jason Bender, very true. If you're going to eat the real tacos, make sure you use organic ground beef and all natural meat and real sour cream and real onions. That sounds so good. Casey's makes the best Mexican pizza. Red Baron also makes a good Mexican pizza. Oh, wow. I've heard of Red Baron. I haven't heard of Casey's. I don't know if we have that out here. You know what I miss? I miss In-N-Out burgers because I wish they would have like a turkey burger or something that I could eat. Mexican pizzas are great homemade. That's just now I'm getting hungry. I think everybody here is getting hungry because we've been talking. You guys in the chat have been talking more about food than what we've been talking about. I don't even know what a pierogi is. Who was talking about pierogies? Deli Max? Yeah, we don't have that here. Never heard of that here. Is that a restaurant or is that in the food aisle? Like the frozen food section. What is a pierogi? Yeah, I do have to use the bathroom before the plumber gets here. In-N-Out is awesome. Jay, in my own town, you can't get a plumber to show up for a job that doesn't cost at least $1,000. Yeah, the apartment's paying for it. I need my kitchen sink fixed, and the plumber sent me a YouTube do-it-yourself link. Oh, that's too funny. A man would hate that small sink. I know. It's like a small convenience store. Oh, okay. I had no idea what that was. Frozen. Deli Max is frozen food. Okay. I didn't know what that is. Trisha? Frozen food, and they are delicious. They are little doughy delights. Oh, wow. Dumplings. Yeah, I like dumplings. Oh, wow. Frozen pierogies? Spinach and feta filling with Alfredo sauce. Oh, I would love that. I ate a lot of spinach after my cancer, and then I developed kidney stones. And they're like, oh, don't ever eat spinach. It'll give you a kidney stone. And I had a ton of them, and they all passed. Unknowing to me, they all passed. Like, I didn't even know they passed, except for one. And then I went and had surgery, but they can't just reach in there and pop it out. And they told me that it was gone, but apparently there's still some fragments in there. So now I'm like, oh God, can I eat because I remember Starbucks used to sell something, like a little spinach wrap, and it was so good. I love them in sauce, but the husband is a diehard fried and butter man. Gosh, I can't eat anything anymore. If you ever get a chance, try Afghan dumplings called mantou. I've never heard of those. Hey, Trisha, can you just mod for do your mod duties for us? Just a minute. I have to go into the other room for just a second. Thank you, everybody. I had to take care of that because if the plumber comes early, I'm not going to have a chance to pee before he gets here. And I did remember when I got into the restroom there to turn off the mic so there wasn't like a hot mic hearing me pee. There's so many things you have to remember for YouTube. Thank you so much, Trisha. You will do a little tap dance and spin around a few times to entertain the masses. You love them, but Walmart has them without the feta. Boy, those sound great. I actually picked up some groceries today at Vaughn's, which is like our version of Safeway. Um, but I kind of wanted to just. People are like, "Oh, you should go live later and talk about everything." But I just want to deal with the plumber, and if he's late, and then I haven't cooked anything to eat yet. I mean, I had a waffle for breakfast, but that was it. Licks Kathy's crown off her head. uh, Trisha was bad. Was she bad? Oh, yes, I did. Especially since the sink is going to be taken apart. Yeah, I always wash my hands. A fried butter, man. That's so funny. Waffles are the best. Yeah, I like waffles. Oh, Suns game. Okay. See you later, Recluse. So, what was this news that was supposed to be coming in? This breaking news that was coming in on Nancy. No, nobody's told me about that yet. They found a bag, a black bag. But what does that mean, and how is that connected to Nancy? Like in her neighborhood? You mean the black bag, like the backpack black bag, like from Front Porch Guy? Are we talking about that? Because you remember when everybody was all hyped up over those black gloves, and it turned out not to mean a thing so far. Oop, sometimes the chat gets stuck on my end. They found a black bag in Tucson. You mean like a backpack? Or like somebody's, we don't know, duffel, backpack, lawn, and leaf. Yeah. Yeah, if anybody knows more about that, let me know. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. Okay, Wolf Chief, thanks for coming. Yeah, I saw a part of an interview with Brian Enton today, like where they're saying that the detectives that came out for Pima County, that they were very inexperienced and they had never even worked a homicide before. And I heard that from the beginning. And I reported that from the beginning, that a lot of their veteran homicide detectives had already left Pima County Sheriff's Department because of all the problems within the department. And so that's not even news to me. But, he's already traveled, back from Florida out to Arizona, and he's trying to find as many people as he can to, go on with him and talk to him because, how much, what more are you going to learn by sitting in front of that house, in the hot weather? So he's trying to, do some interviews of people. He had like a retired police officer walk him behind the house in what's called the utility easement. That was interesting because apparently he didn't know anything about rattlesnake shoes or rattlesnake boots. And that cop wrongly told him, like, oh, well, we had this thing in the desert and nobody got bit. And, like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, no, you got to worry about it, Brian. Because every time he walks behind that house, he's like, yeah, I know. I got to be careful of the rattlesnakes. He's got to have the proper shoes. He's got to really have those snake gaiters on that come all the way up to his knees. Amazon, have it delivered to your hotel, Brian Enton. Get yourself some snake gaiters. Because they're out early this year in California and Arizona. I know Nancy isn't just going to drive up to her house or get dropped off. Exactly. Although, wouldn't that be something? Yeah, it didn't fit because it got wet. It was a leather driver's glove. Yeah, that's one out of at least 16 gloves that they gathered. And they found all kinds of clothing in the wash and inside these little bridge tunnels. And hey, the good JR. Yeah, I'm 101 minutes into it. I'm 5 minutes away from having to sit here for, 1 minute to 2 hours waiting for the plumber. Oh, thank you for coming, Jamie. Yeah, I had to go early because the plumber's coming. Yeah, I was thinking about you too. Somebody sent me a message going, hey, what time are you? Maybe you should go a little later. But I was like, well, I'm contemplating it because of the plumber. And then we talked a bunch about, just did a little revisit on the Adam Walsh case. And I think the point I was trying to make, even though that's such an old case, is things are not always as they appear, especially with the man that ended up being not charged, but believed to have been the culprit in that crime, and it wasn't necessarily so. Big question marks in that. Someone said on Twitter they found a black bag in Tucson. What type of a black bag are we talking about? I was talking about good old man that unalived his ex, OJ. Okay. Yeah, what kind of bag are we talking about? What was found today in Tucson? You mean like a purse or like a black backpack? A garbage bag? What type of bag? And how is it connecting to Nancy Guthrie? I mean, if it's making the news, it obviously has some importance maybe to the case. So I'd like to hear more about this black bag. And the only thing I heard today from Brian Enton is, he did an interview with somebody's and their voice was like disguised and their face was like blacked out. Excuse me, I just hit the mic. So you couldn't see, it was like a shadowy figure with one of those voices because it's like a robot. And he was just saying like, yeah, there was no veteran homicide detectives that were assigned to this. Well, that's because most of them apparently left the Pima County Sheriff's and they didn't know what to do. Which is shocking. I am not sure. I just heard about it. Somebody said it's on Twitter. They're not sure if it's connected to Nancy's case. Oh, okay. I know you had, no, it was worldwide. I knew you were going to ask me that question, and now I'm going to have to investigate. The good JR investigator. I just heard somebody say they found a black bag on Twitter. Okay. I'm only going to be here a few more minutes. Most of you guys are probably going to see this on the playback if you're, a lot of people are probably still at work or in traffic right now, but I didn't know, is he coming at, 4:01 or is he coming at 6 or 5:55 or 5:59? And how long will it take? And, then I got to finally eat something. So I'm having late breakfasts lately and then just skipping lunch. He was a Simpson. Yeah, that happened in the neighborhood that I work. So I was that was too close to where I work. I knew a lot about that. Very sad case. But my whole point of starting this true crime was I just wanted to talk about Nancy for a day or two. I didn't know that, it would be 60 plus days later and, everybody would still be here talking about it. Oh, and I did forget to tell you, for you guys that are still remaining in here, there's 12 of you, that I got an email last night from the Chelan County Sheriff's Department in Chelan, Washington. Chelan County, Washington. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I heard it was Chelan or Chelan County. I got a really interesting police report. Yeah, it's very interesting. We'll have to go over it soon. Not today, but think about that. Chelan County, Washington, from December 25th, 2025. There was something very interesting that allegedly occurred there December 25th, 2025, involving someone who's been quite active in the reporting of the Nancy Guthrie case. Yeah, the big conversation connected to Nancy is still the inexperience. Yeah, there's not really no new evidence to talk about. You know? Yes, it does, Tricia. Now remember, everybody here on my channel, no matter who we're talking about, is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And there's two sides to every story, and in that particular case, no one has been charged with a crime or arrested. Exactly, never tick off a woman. Yeah, the name of the account that is reporting about the black bag is called Where is Nancy Guthrie? I saw people flipping out about that deputy for Pima County that recently got fired because he allegedly detained an arrestee in his car, which was later reported as a kidnapping because he wouldn't let her out of the car to take her in handcuffs to the police station for processing. And some bad things went down, and apparently this guy may have done that before, and people are like, oh, well, then he kidnapped Nancy Guthrie. No, he didn't. Totally different situation, totally different MO, totally different set of victims. So I didn't even bother to list him in the video that I did, the long form content, which you still have to navigate to the homepage of the channel and go to the video tab so you can watch the long form content videos. Jim Bob told Joseph was going to prison for a long time. Yikes. Emails were released. Yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms. It's not looking good. Oh, the report that I received by email is in relation to someone whose channel name starts with the letter J. But so far, that's just remained a civil matter. JB knows it all. They were released by FOIA. Oh, Jim Bob. And what was released by FOIA? Oh, you mean the phone calls that were recorded while he was in the Washington County Jail? Yeah, those were mind-blowing because just to see how his wife was like, ooh, poor baby, are you okay? But her whole life is in shambles. You know, their kids' lives are in shambles, and she's lost custody of her children, and apparently they don't even have money to pay the mortgage right now. What a mess. That, that family. It just never ceases to amaze me. I should say, there's that old saying, what a tangled web we weave. What a mess. Did anybody who ever watched that show? First, it was 15 or 16 kids and counting, then 17, then 18, then 19. I mean, I know it ended at 19, but where were they when they were first counting? Like, did anybody ever guess that all this was going to go down in the years following and the shows would be taken off the air because of things, and then they would do these spin-offs, and then those would be taken off the air because things just got really, really bad behind the scenes. Like, oh my God, shame on the mess, says Bailey. Welcome in. Hey, I've been going almost an hour and 12 minutes. It's an hour and 11 minutes. And it's 4 o'clock and the plumber is still not here. Okay, Brian from News Nation is going to have an interview with the first supervisor who responded to Nancy's house. That's going to be tonight on News Nation at 10 p.m., 7 p.m. Pacific. Trisha, big money changes people and very seldom for the better. Yes, ma'am. Bothered me from the beginning. Yeah, I did think they were a little off, especially the parents, Jay. Freedom of Information Act. Yep, the emails were from Anna and one other brother. Jason is mad. Another brother, 14 and pregnant again. Oh, that's how it started. Okay, 14 and pregnant again. Because I think they did have like a documentary or a movie or something before they had the series. Brian from News Nation is going to have an interview tonight. Going to go out on a limb and say no plumber today. No, I think he'll be here because it's the regular plumber this time. And it's all been confirmed. He'll be here. You better. Everybody's going to have to be washing their hands in the sink. It's getting hard just to, brush my teeth. And I brush my teeth like all the time, like 3 times a day at least. And I don't want to stand and, over the sink for 5 or 10 minutes waiting for the water to drain. And they fix that over and over again. And it's not even coming from me. It's coming from the neighbors. The same thing with the garbage disposals and the dishwashers, but it's always in the neighbor's plumbing. But it always affects my place. So for those that can see it tonight on News Nation at 10, well, I hope he proves you wrong. I hope so too, Tricia. Wonder if I'm getting all the messages. You mean here in the chat? The Learning Channel taught us all about predators. Mm-hmm, Kathy? When I was going over this old Adam Walsh case, apparently in the 80s, that's when society changed because parents were very paranoid after that case to let their children out. So, like kids of the 70s that were out playing basketball or tag football or wiffle ball, and you walked out at night, even into woods, or you came home before the street lamps came on, or you're going to get your butt kicked, right? That generation is gone because in the 80s, the Adam Walsh thing happened, and parents were like, no, you're not going out to play anymore. All the play dates became arranged by the parents, and kids, they play at each other's homes, and they're all attached to these cell phones and iPads and tablets. And um, the way I grew up, kids don't go out and play like that anymore because we're not living in the same world anymore. The good JR says they found a black bag, something decomposing in it. So they've turned it over to the authorities. Wow. Hey, Franklin Rice. Almost everyone were about predators and exploitation. Yeah, I grew up in a different time. And one of the smaller towns I lived in, because I've lived mostly big cities most of my life, but the smaller towns seem to have more crime and more danger lurking than the big cities. Oh, Tricia says, this is why being an ugly child was a blessing. My mom was always paranoid. I am the only child born in parents late in the 30s. You know, my parents, particularly my mother, was extraordinarily paranoid. I mean, I still was allowed to go out and be free and play, but because I was very independent. But in their family, decades before I was even born or before my parents even knew each other or were married, I mean, we're talking many, many, many moons ago, there was a kidnapping for ransom in my family. It just wasn't my family yet. I wasn't here yet. My sister wasn't here yet. My parents, they weren't even grown up and, they didn't even know each other yet. But there was a kidnapping. And um, my mother, who was more familiar with the situation than my father, she was always afraid um, that I would get kidnapped. And so, there were very strict rules to follow about checking in and always knowing where I was and being home by a certain time. Trisha. Jay, I was the only child, and I'm not sure my parents liked me. They rubbed me down with bacon grease before they sent me out to play. Kathy says, my mom was born in 30, my dad 31. That's too funny. These comments are getting crazy, but not in a bad way. I was shoved at the door at break of dawn and told to come home before the streetlights came on. Hey, G Shady Enterprise, it's okay. I'm waiting for the plumber between 4 and 6 Pacific time, and it's already 4:11. Parents born in 1929. Wow. Yeah, so that was always like pushed on me when I was a child, like, be careful or you could get kidnapped. Yokuba. Hello. We were talking earlier, JR, about the Adam Walsh case that happened in Hollywood, Florida in 1981. Yeah, Adam Walsh, he was the little 7-year-old son of TV host John Walsh. Yeah, his father was John Walsh, and he was Adam John Walsh, the little boy. But it later, many decades later, that case then was connected to Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah, John had America's Most Wanted, and then there was also, with Robert Stack, there was NBC's Unsolved Mysteries. That was a great show. Oh, I must have missed something, Tricia. Thank you. I remember going up and going outside, so Mom didn't make me do chores. Had to be in as soon as the streetlights came on. Yep. Because if I wasn't, then I must be dead and lying in a ditch somewhere. You know, for real. That was all. There's been a bicycle crash and she's lying in a ditch dead. Or I've been kidnapped. And I was very independent from about the time I was a year old. As soon as I could walk, I was, out the door. So there were a lot of locks on our doors when I grew up. But not like the Duggars where, like we couldn't get out of our bedrooms. It wasn't to that extreme. Yeah, I never had a cell phone in school, never even had computers. Same here. We had to do old typing on a typewriter when we did 10 key. Oh, there's the plumber. Let me go answer the door. I'll be right back. Come on in.
Hola.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I was looking. I thought it was going to be the other plumber. Come on in.
No, different plumbing.
Okay, if you guys can just go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
The light switch is behind the door, and it's the bathroom sink. And it gets stuck all the time, and the plumber's been here probably 10 different times, and then it happens again. So let me show you. I thought it was going to be the bald guy. Like right behind that door, there's a light switch, and then it's this little tiny vanity sink, and they keep snaking it out, but it just it not I can't like brush my teeth or even wash my hands without waiting minutes for it to drain. And then there's always like a bad smell. And I told the plumber upstairs about it.
You didn't put chloro?
I didn't put anything down the drain, no, because I don't want to like break the plumbing. But I'm on a live right now, so you guys just do what you have to do. If you need anything, ask me. Well, that was a shock. He's probably wondering. There's two of them. So, oh yeah, I heard about the earthquake last night. Was there another one today, JR? You were always breaking out of the house when you were little. You know what, Jay? That happened to me when I was a year old, and my mom, I guess she was in the bathroom or something, or she was in another part of the apartment, and she walked out in the living room, and the front door was wide open, and I was gone. And I had just learned to walk, and apparently she completely flipped out, especially with, the kidnapping in the family that happened in the 40s. She freaked out, said she found me in the parking lot. We were in a temporary apartment. We were on it was a defense contractor sort of situation that had to do with the Vietnam War. That brought a bunch of families out from Connecticut to the Bay Area. And they all worked over at Menzie, the Navy base. And my mom, she was there at home with me during the day with no car, found the front door open, and just flipped out. I don't remember it. I was only like a year old. I wasn't even 2 yet. And she asked me where I was going, and I said I was going to our friends that lived in one of our Connecticut neighbors that we met in California. Many of the neighbors lived in the same complex, and that I was going to visit my friend Lisa. So I was a year old. From that point on, there were chains on the door. Like those, not the deadbolts, but the little chains where you can open the door like a little bit to see who it is. But they were very up high. And every house we ever lived in, when we were kids, those little chains like you see in hotel rooms were on the doors. That's kind of dangerous because I could have got hit by a car. I bet my parents always hoped I would, but I knew they would change the locks on me. Oh, Brookdale, California. Is that the one last night, or was there another one today, JR? Oh, yeah. Okay, I heard about that one last night. It was originally a 4.9. They've downgraded to a 4.6. They thought it was going to be about a 5, and that's why the cell phones in the Bay Area, the Quake Alert, which we were just talking about yesterday here on this show, went off last night. Not here in LA, thank God, because that Quake Alert, when they go, earthquake, earthquake, duck, cover, hide, that scares the crap out of me. And it usually goes off when I'm lying in bed. Mom would always lay down for a nap, and away I would go visit the geriatric neighbors around the block. Okay, well, you know what? I thank you, everybody, for the comments, but I got the two plumbers here, and I'm going to go make sure that this time the sink gets fixed. But I didn't plan to be on for over 2 hours. If you're watching on the playback, make sure you give this a thumbs up. And remember, everybody, go to the home page and see the video tab. See all the videos, see all the links, see the description. Got everything from long form to short, which I wouldn't waste your time, but I got some decent shorts. you can always go to the playlist and you can see bunny videos, cat videos, anything, even the LA Zoo. You can see it all. I would like to keep talking to everybody. I appreciate everybody that's in the chat, but I do have to sign off at 125 minutes. So thank you, everybody. Pray the plumbing is